Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my fiancé because he's in love with another woman? My fiancé and I recently took a vacation to see one of his friends, Rebecca. This is the first time I've met this friend. I started dating my fiancé right before the pandemic, and this was his first time seeing her since it started. The trip itself was fine, but I don't have much in common with Rebecca since she's older than me. My fiancé was definitely having a great time though, and I didn't think anything of it at the time. When we were leaving for the airport to come home, they hugged each other goodbye and I heard him say I love you to her, and she said she loved him too. I've never heard him say I love you to any of his other friends. I was pretty upset on the way home and didn't talk much. I was thinking about the trip and how they were acting around each other, how he seemed happier than I remember seeing him in a long time. When we finally got home, he asked me what was wrong and I told him I couldn't believe he would tell another woman he loved her right in front of me. He got defensive and said it was a different kind of love and that she's one of the closest friends he has, and that there's not a romantic connection between them. I asked him if he ever had romantic feelings for her and he got quiet for a minute before saying he did have feelings for her years ago before we started dating, but she didn't return the feelings and he put it behind him. I got really upset at him and told him I don't want her at the wedding. He said that he can't do that because he already asked her if she wanted to be one of the groomsmen. I got more upset that he didn't run it by me first and told him that if he loved her so much that he can marry her instead, and I left. I'm staying with my mom now and he's been trying to reach me to talk about it, but I haven't answered him. A couple of my friends say I'm overreacting and I'm starting to think maybe that's true. Am I the a-hole? Edit, I feel awful for how I reacted. I'm not used to having partners that are comfortable around their friends enough to tell them they love them. I let my insecurities get the better of me and it was wrong of me to take it out on my fiancé. I left this out from the original post, but I have been cheated on before and I think that's where this stems from. I finally responded to him and asked if we could talk this weekend and he agreed. I hope I didn't ruin this forever because I do love him. Go to part 2. Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my fiancé because he's in love with another woman? After getting my SS properly handed to me, I finally responded to my fiancé's text messages and asked if we could talk. He agreed, and we talked on the phone. I apologized for my actions and I brought up the idea of me going to therapy for my insecurities and trust issues. I also mentioned that I was partially upset because even though I know we took the trip to see his friend, that I felt like a third wheel because we didn't get to spend that much time alone together, and that he's so close with Rebecca that I felt out of place. He said that therapy was a good idea, but he was still hurt by what I said and said he needed some time alone still to digest everything that's happened. After we talked, I sat with my thoughts and decided to reach out to Rebecca to apologize as well. I messaged her on Instagram and told her I was sorry for acting like a bitch and that I was going to go to therapy, and that I shouldn't let it bother me that he used to have feelings for her, and asked her out. She replied back and was very confused. She said he had never asked her out or mentioned anything about him having feelings for her. She explained that she was aromantic and doesn't feel romantic connection, and can be oblivious to when people have feelings for her. She said she always thought of the relationship more like a sibling one, and thought he felt the same. I was so confused and upset at that point that I had to take a walk to clear my mind. I left my phone behind because I didn't want any distractions. I got home from my walk and I had a bunch of missed calls and texts from my fiancé, saying we needed to talk ASAP. I decided to call him back and he picked up the phone and started yelling at me, asking why I talked to Rebecca and told her what I did. I explained that I thought it was the right thing to do and that I owed her an apology. Apparently after I talked to Rebecca she talked to him and asked him if what I said was true. My fiancé was caught off guard and didn't know what to tell her. I asked him what he said and he said he ended up telling her the truth. I asked him what the truth even is. He was quiet again and then said the truth is complicated. I'm like, what the F does that even mean? He said he doesn't think his feelings for Rebecca ever truly went away, but that he is more in love with me and wants to marry me. He wants Rebecca to always be a part of his life and that's why he asked her to be his best man. He told me she was just a groomsman before. I told him I was tired and needed to go to bed. I cried myself to sleep last night. I don't know what to think anymore. My mom says that I can continue to stay with her. I'm scared and alone and I don't know what to do. Edit, I've officially called the wedding off. I couldn't trust my fiancé anymore after he lied to both me and Rebecca about his true feelings. He was apologetic, but he seemed to understand he was in the wrong and that there wasn't any going back to the way things were, so he didn't fight it or anything. Luckily for me, my mother has been incredibly supportive. I've moved back in with her and she's letting me stay for as long as I need until I can get back on my feet. I still plan on going to therapy. Even though my intuition was right, I was still immature about the situation and insecure enough to have that intuition in the first place. If I had been wrong, I'd be a major buttface. I shouldn't let my past experiences with cheating partners affect future relationships. Even though he lied to me, I don't hate my fiancé. Love is a complicated thing and sometimes it's hard to move on from the feelings you have. I don't know what will happen, but I do wish him the best going forward. Despite everything that's happened, I'm pretty happy with my life right now. Things have definitely been better, but I'm making the most of it. My mom and I have become closer, and my friends have helped me explore new hobbies and efforts to help cheer me up. I've discovered an interest in creative writing and am excited to see what I can do with that.